I think it's up north, it doesn't. I know my grandpa says he remembers when he was a kid, them plowing the field with a horse. He remembers that.
7:30. May 14th, 2024. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. All right. Look at this, I brought it home. Okay, Gilman here, Christie here, Berenger
Here.
Duncan
Here.
Dudek
Here.
all present. Okay, comments from the community for items not on the agenda. Mr. Hawk? That's correct when I say hot, right?
This is like I caught them all.
Okay.
I should share some information. I'm gonna try to talk fast. I thought you. Fine. You guys have a copy of these? I state my name, right? Name, address, is that how it goes?
If you would like.
Michael, 9352 Gratiot Avenue. I come before you guys tonight in the peace and love of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I pray that the Holy Spirit will guide us in our discussion this evening. Amen. I wanted to talk a little bit about, especially with the contentious election that we got coming up in the fall, about the Republican form of government. We hear all the time that we're a democracy, and we are the farthest thing from it, right? So our founding fathers were all very religious men. They were very much believers in God. Exodus 18:21 says, furthermore, you shall elect out of all the people able men who fear God, men of truth, those who hate dishonest gain, and you shall place these over them. This is the people, right? As leaders of thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. And that's like state or federal, state, county, and local. Republican form of government directly from the word of God. And they codified that in Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution. Says the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a Republican form of government. And before any state could become a member of the union, it had to swear to uphold the United States Constitution, not abrogate it in any way. There's a definition from Black's Law Dictionary of what a commonwealth is. And it's a form of government. This is where we differ from a democracy. A lot of people say we're a democracy. But the form of government which the administration of affairs is open to all citizens. A democracy, you vote every 2 to 4 years. In a Republican form of government, you participate in this argument. There's nobody here participating, right? So we've kind of forgotten how to do this. And that's why I'm here. So Article 1, Section 1 of the Michigan Constitution. We don't see these little boxes on here that say maxims of law. If you flip over to the back page, there's kind of a definition of what that is. These are maxims of law are so manifestly founded on reason, necessity, and divine precepts that they've been universally accepted as being true rules and principles of law. So it's kind of like when people go and they want to argue the law, these are already agreed upon, so you don't have to argue the minutia to get to the point, right? You'll see a couple of those. In Article 1, Section 1 of the Michigan Constitution says all political power is inherent in the people, and that government is instituted for their equal benefit, security, and protection. We see that in the maximum of law there as well. And in 51P down, you skip over Article 1, Section 3 for just a second. The main object of government is the protection and preservation of personal rights, private property, and public liberties, and upholding the law of God. So Article 1, Section 3 of the Constitution says that when this doesn't happen, that the people have the right to peaceably assemble and consult for the common good, to instruct their representatives and petition government for redress of grievances. And kind of like, this is going toward the election thing too, because if we can't have fair elections, you know, if I don't, I'll get to that in a minute. So 62P, so if the main object of government is to protect and preserve the personal rights, if you take a look at this sheet that I gave you, this is kind of a depiction of when the founding fathers created the document, the Constitution, everything on the left there are like two domains in the Constitution. There's everything that's in the public and everything that's in the private. So any of your private rights, those are accepted out of powers of government, means that they can't be touched by the government. And everything in the public domain is limited authority, and it's what's written in the Constitution, right? We talked a little bit about private. So the private rights, the ones we see over here that are, you know, untouchable, unchangeable, unalienable, meaning you can't place a lien against those rights because they are so inherent in the person. If you place a lien against them, you have a lien against the person, which is slavery. So, and those are the natural God-given rights, and the maximum of law there says natural rights are as such appertain to man inherent in his nature and plainly assured by natural law, being distinguished from such as are created by law and dependent upon civilized society. The Black's Law definition of a constitutional right is a right guaranteed to citizens by the Constitution and is so guaranteed as to prevent legislative interference therewith. And everybody's heard of like the Miranda case where they read your life and they arrest you, whatever. That case also said that where rights are secured by the Constitution are involved, there can be no rulemaking or legislation, which would happen. Rulemaking would be like executive orders, public decrees. You know, you gotta stay in your house, you gotta wear a mask, that'd be ruled. And obviously legislation would be, well, we got statutes, codes, and ordinances. Those would be, if they're not passed in pursuance of the Constitution, they are invalid. Marbury versus Madison clearly spells that out. Just abrogate, there's definitions on that. You know, that's to repeal to annul, so you can't appeal, annul, or abolish by any authority any of the rights that are real, that are protected and accepted out of government. Amendment, the 9th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution and Article 1, Section 23 of the Michigan Constitution both say that just because it isn't spelled out in the Constitution, all those rights that aren't spelled out are reserved by the people. So if it's something that's not what my list isn't extensive. This is kind of a highlighted list. So then we get to the other side of this brick wall that our founding fathers built between us and those whom we've entrusted, those who are guardians of public trust. And so, yeah, the constitutions are a public trust, and our trustees swear an oath to protect and preserve the inherent rights of the people and to manage our affairs using the limited authority enumerated in the Constitution. And this is where we get like, this body is a legislative body. And this is where we can, the legislature in Michigan, the Michigan Constitution sets the time, place, and manner of elections. You know, we get to decide that at the local level. And as I don't know if you saw that resolution from the county. It states exactly, I have a copy of it if you'd like it. But they said exactly, they said, being at all times mindful that the Michigan Constitution and laws of the state of Michigan vest all authority to conduct local elections in the offices of our sworn locally elected representatives. Right. Within the state's 1,520 cities and townships, and as such, they are free to choose any method or procedure to conduct elections and the counting of votes not specifically prohibited by law, which would include maintaining voter rolls and poll books of their respective qualified voters, independent from any record maintained by the state in the form of written physical records, able to be readily verified by local election clerk staff and the public using proven methods of precinct ward geographically defined localized voting with verifiable balloting procedures using paper ballots and requiring proper voter identification. That was passed at the beginning. It's just a resolution. It doesn't mean a lot. But the Board of Commissioners passed that. So yeah, Article 7, Section 17 is what it says. In each organized township, there shall be elected terms, and it names all the positions, right? And it says whose legislative and administrative powers and duties shall be provided by law. I don't remember the exact citation for the Constitution for elections, but it says the legislature will set the time, place, and manner of elections. And in this case, this is the legislature for the town of Columbus. So, and right now, that's been outsourced to Secretary of State, which I believe is part of the executive branch. So that's completely, that's unconstitutional from, on its face. Key takeaways, I guess, that I would like to just kind of throw out there, that one, the bills, every constitution, there's 50 of them, I didn't know this until recently. Every state has a constitution, and we have the United States Constitution, every one of them have either a bill or declaration of rights in there. And those are accepted out of government powers, and under those fall our, our right to vote, and our right to have our vote. And the elective officers are sworn, preserve, and protect those personal rights, private property, and the public liberties, which you enjoy under our Constitution, right? With that, hopefully I didn't go too long. I know it was a little longer than 3 minutes. But,
So what was your reason to bring this up? Like, what is your main thing?
my main goal
Yeah,
is
exactly.
the constitutions. We are not, we are a constitutional republic, but we're not following our constitutions at all. They built a democracy within it. Because up until 1970, they would convene a board of supervisors to do the counties.
Yep.
And they brought in this administrative agency of the state. So now your sheriff and your board of commissioners, they report directly to the state. They don't report to the people like they're supposed to. And we no longer have representation at that level. So, and the only way we're gonna fix it is at this level. And broad diffusion of knowledge, and more people understand, fix their constitutions and start reading. It's really simple. I thought it was all complicated stuff, so I started getting into, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean,
Just so you know, I didn't, they never sent this to us.
I found it on their website. I had no idea. I was like, wait a minute.
And
resolution.
usually they send us stuff like this.
And I mean, they're citing the Constitution and saying that we can, at the township, we can do anything that the Constitution says we can do. Because I know we have machines here, right? Because anybody that's operating that machine has to swear an oath, but a machine can't swear an oath, right? So we don't know what's leaving from the machine, do we? Is there any way to verify that?
I don't know what you mean, leaving the machine.
Like when you tabulate the results. Because I know the tabulators were given to the township, right? They were kind of, the state said here, the county said here. you can
Yeah, but I
tabulate.
test those tabulators before every election. I have test ballots. I run them through the machine. I verify the total tape there matches the ballots that I have. That I've run through there. And I mean, it's not, Phoebe's helped me many times. There's times when we're there for 2 hours running ballots through to. For every scenario possible. And at the
And
end.
it tests like if people, like different ways of voting, different
Yeah.
mistakes, different, scenarios,
Have you seen the videos of where the guy testified in front of Congress? He pulled one of those machines out and hacked it right in front of him.
I'm
He
not-
doesn't doubt.
Because if our votes don't count.
Yeah.
What's.
I watched an entire thing after the last election about mistakes that were found that weren't addressed, but at our level, I'm pretty certain that we're doing everything the way we're supposed to do it, and we lock all those ballots up into a bin, and if it came down to it, we could hand count those and have hand count.
And there's a seal on it too.
Yeah.
So if the seal is broken too, that's another thing. There's seals on it,
What would be the limiting factor on doing both? If you want to run it through the machine, then you can hand count it.
There's no way we can physically do that. We'd be here for 2 days. I have to have the results go to the county the same night as the election. That's what they want. And there's been a lot of people that have tried to say, there's no reason, especially now, because there's if you come in, if Brett, I always use Brett as an example, if Brett comes in and votes or he votes absentee and he doesn't send it back in time, I have, like he's overseas, I have 5 days that I have to wait to see if his is coming back from overseas. Or if I'm trying to verify a signature, I have 5 days to verify that. So there's no way that I'm getting the accurate total count, because if his ballot comes in on Thursday, it's going into the count. But the state requires us to have it to the county by the end of the night, so they get their quick results. That's not something I can dispute. And to hand count it, I would have to break the seal. Because I have to seal everything up, take what I have, all my stuff up to the county. But if I break those seals and hand count them, now those become uncountable if there's a recall or if there's a question.
There's so many rules for Andy.
Those ballots, I mean, because we have the difference between the law, which is the law of the land, the Constitution, and then we have statutory law, which is. If it's repugnant to the Constitution, we're not supposed to follow it. Not saying, I'm not asking you to break the law, but I'm just saying we have those. but does that make sense? You can't.
If I had to physically
You can't
hand,
do about it on your.
and I'm not saying that we haven't had to do that before, but you have to think about this. If there's 1,000 ballots in that bin,
Mhm.
and I've got 3 people at the end of the night who have been there 16 hours. Don't you think there's a lot of room for error there also?
Right, but could we not bring in, cause like a Republican form of government
Bring in
is.
more people, good luck. I can't get enough people to work as it is.
But yeah, there would be room for human error there.
Human.
And when they input it in the computer too, they have to balance too. So
Yeah.
each number is attached to each ballot, each goes to each school district. And if they don't match their numbers perfectly, which they've done many, but you've had to fix it, because something would be,
I've only
Where
had
it's like
one time- I've been
absentee.
doing elections for probably 25 years. I've only had one time where we didn't balance at the end of the
Yeah.
night. We lost somewhere, one ballot disappeared.
Yeah.
But that was the one and only time. And one time our tabulator broke. And we ended up, I got home at 6 o'clock in the morning because we had to get it repaired and run all those ballots through after the polls were closed. And I'm pretty confident that the way I can't speak for everybody, but I know what I do and how I run it here. When I get an absentee ballot, we check it against the signatures. We don't just automatically accept it. I run a report that says all these people return their ballots. This is their ballot number, and my deputy and I go through and we double check to make sure every single one comes. When those ballots, absentee ballots go through, they open them. They make sure that that ballot number matches the ballot number on the envelope. We're real careful.
Who owns the ballots though?
Who owns the ballot?
Yeah,
I retain them,
right, you're the.
keeper of the records.
What do you call it, the guardian or not?
Right.
whatever, Yeah, but like, don't the people of the township own them? Because we're not allowed to open them and do a recount? Because I guess what I'm saying is I realize that the
No,
Secretary of State has set a lot of rules. for
But
us.
you could see if I took it upon myself to break a seal and recount ballots, that I'm in violation of what I've written down on the paperwork that I took up to the county, because I have to write the seal numbers in the paperwork I give to the county, which the Board of Canvasser checks. And if they were to come back and see a different seal, then they could say I tampered with the ballots.
So, but if we did a hand count before we went to the box, we're okay.
Then we'd be here till Wednesday
Unless we can
afternoon.
Get more people to participate.
Good luck with that. And I don't know, then that's another extra cost too, to the township, because you've got to pay people. People aren't doing this for free. I'm lucky, we pay them relatively well, but it's still hard.
but
to
I do see what you mean. The
That's
whole
still-
point is just
it's-
blame,
it's
it just,
They shouldn't be getting paid, for it, in my opinion, because it's a duty. And if you don't want to do that
Well-
duty, then let somebody else, I'll volunteer. Well, I can't.
You can't.
Right,
No, you
yeah.
cannot.
But I may be able to find volunteers, people
But-
that would volunteer to do it.
Yeah,
because-
but, and nobody in your family can either, because you can't have a
Yeah, it's
relative.
conflict.
It would be, no, and I can't ask people to do it for free. I have had one lady who turned in one and said, I don't expect to get paid, but that's the only way it's a huge responsibility to run an election. It's a huge responsibility to be a poll worker and make sure everything is done correctly. And they are very careful about what they do. If they have a problem, they come to me so we can solve it. I understand what you're saying completely. I understand. I have a lot of things that concern me, because my feeling is every day I get a letter in the mail that some other data breach has happened to my information. I know this is happening everywhere, but I don't have a solution that,
Do we have procedures to do paper ballots if we were to go that route? If I could get to people's, I'll ask people to do it for free.
We do paper ballots.
we do use paper
Yeah,
ballots,
okay, so.
but we don't.
tabulate it.
We tabulate it in the tabulator.
But I'd be worried to have people from Columbus, no offense, I would want an outside place, you know what I mean? Cause then to me, how do you know the people, oh, yeah, no, it was, that person, like, it's just.
So I can tell you, if a ballot won't go through or an absentee ballot, there's an issue and we have to duplicate it. The way the law is written, 2 people have to duplicate that. One person reads it and one person marks a new ballot. I make them do 3. She's reading what's on the ballot, he's writing what's on the ballot, and he's watching to make sure what he wrote is the right thing. Because she might say, hey, Joe Schmo, and he might check Jim Smith. So I've got a third person verifying that that's really the right thing that he marked, whatever she said out loud. The third person is verifying that he marked it correctly.
It's nice being small because at least Andy's very careful and stuff, but bigger places, who knows what they're doing to,
Outside the township, though, in your count, you know what I mean? So I think the people of Columbus could do it, not saying they would cheat. But if you catch somebody, there are penalties for it, I'm sure. You can prosecute them, right? If you catch them cheating, I mean.
I know, I'm sure that, I think it's a
Yeah.
felony.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
But you have to also understand that I don't make the rules, I have to follow.
Yeah, well, I understand that, because there are the statutes that they put in place, and this is, like I said, the Secretary of State is running elections, and she's not the legislature. This legislature is supposed to set time, place, and manner of elections.
There was-
I think we all agree with you that the train has jumped the track a long time ago.
Yeah.
And that things are way off base, but in little townships like this, I think you gotta believe that almost everybody in little townships are trying to do the best they can for the people, and they're honest, and they're God-fearing, and they care about what they're doing, and I agree with you on a state and local level, things are way off track. But they hold all the power. They got the corporations, they got the law, they got, and by the law, I mean the forces of the law, like the FBI and the police and the CIA and all the NSA and all these different organizations. And you can try to do your God's honest best to do the right thing. But if they don't like that, they will come down and ruin your life. And so I don't know
Yeah.
how we could put it back like it was.
And I really am careful,
But
Brett. Brett is my witness. Remember that one year when you filed and I made your wife come and re-sign the affidavit because the petition, because I said, that doesn't match what I have on file. And she was not happy with me, but she did it.
So who's helping with elections here?
Me.
You.
I run-
And her deputy.
I can't help. You're on the ballot too, right?
Pardon me?
You're on the ballot as well, right? So how does that work?
Oh, I have a deputy. She'll be overseeing. I can do everything up until election day. On election day, I can only, in fact, I just got an email about that from the state. I can only come in the room if there's like some problem that nobody else can figure out, but normally they can. Jennifer's pretty darn
and
good
they
at
make
it.
other people take training and they have to
Yeah.
be certified.
Yeah.
They got,
Fix it.
there's rules upon rules upon rules. There's rules. There's so many rules, nobody even knows what they are. There's a whole law library. of
But the
rules.
question you have to ask is, are these rules, are they in pursuance of the Constitution? Because if they're not, then we have to challenge them. It's our duty.
Well, I'm sure many of them are not.
Right? So, and that means that whoever's setting these rules, these are administrative agencies, Secretary of State is, all of these places are administrative agencies that they've usurped the power of the townships.
Right, but
I agree
But
with
it's the same as like, if you say, oh, I'm not buying insurance, I'm not putting a plate on my car, I'm not getting a driver's license. Watch what happens.
Yeah. And just,
I understand.
and during COVID, when the Secretary of State made the decision to mail everybody an absentee ballot application, I think that was unconstitutional. Our Constitution said you have to ask for a ballot, an absentee ballot. Not, I'm sending you an application, and believe me, and on there was a box that said I want to be permanent absentee, and my absentees tripled because of them doing that. And I truly don't think that was legal.
No, it wasn't, because who sets the time, place, and manner of elections? The legislature, not the Secretary of State. She changed the rules arbitrarily.
But she did. And they all know I complained about it numerous times.
There's not a good feeling about the integrity of the coming election,
That's why.
but I'll bet you in rural areas, things are pretty tight and dealt with pretty well. But when you start getting into metropolitan areas, all of a sudden they find a bag of votes in the trunk of someone's car. Cause they take days to make sure they count, so they know how many they need to make their guy win.
Well, I know, we check every single signature on an absentee ballot that comes in. But do they in big cities where there's thousands of them and thousands of them? I don't know if they have the ability to do that.
But to answer your question, how we fix it, we get back to the Constitution in every way that we have the power to do it. Move in that direction, like, we need the rest of the time, because if we.
Well, you're running for the wrong office. You should be going higher up.
Yeah, definitely.
Who up?
Governor.
I don't think I want that job.
In House or Senate?
Yeah,
But
I don't-
really.
what kind of lock with the county commissioners, like he told me before about the Board of County Supervisors,
Yeah.
how they used to have that. When did that change?
1970.
1970.
1964 is when they amended the Constitution with no constitutional convention. U of M, bunch of attorneys got together and they wrote it up and they put it on the ballot.
And then what happens now is all these jobs are appointed.
Well, they created a whole nother level of bureaucracy.
Yeah, they created a democracy. So they centralized power and moved it up the chain so that it happened.
Right.
So we can take it back. It has to be done at the township level. I mean, I.
It can't be done here. That's the problem. It can't be done here. We don't have the power to do
We
it.
have power to nothing.
You'd have to go up a level or two to at least be able to get in and get stuff passed.
I tried to get the county to do the early voting countywide to save the taxpayers money. And was told that it wasn't doable. And I called Lenawee County and found out all these other counties that did it. And when I brought it to the board last month and Bruce talked to somebody at the county level, they told Bruce that I was lying.
There's a lot of frustration in this work.
Oh, I can
Yeah.
imagine. But to your point, we don't need any more laws. We don't need for them to put statutes. And if we just say, look, we're gonna follow the Constitution, what can they say? No, you can't. You know what I mean? Because if.
You could try.
If we ask for more.
You can try.
They're gonna give it to us, right?
You can try. It's kind of like not driving without a driver's license. You can do it for a little while. That's what I'm saying. You have to move up a level to get them to eliminate all the stuff that they passed.
Yeah, you
You
should.
need to be in the house,
Yeah.
representative or something, and then be able to start pushing stuff through to be able to get that passed and say, okay, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And I personally haven't run for that because I don't have the time. There's no way in the world I have time to do that. That's a full-time career.
If we could get our representatives to work on abolishing things that are unconstitutional, that would be great.
They're the ones that are here for the bucks. Cause they're making 80, 90 grand a year doing nothing.
Because I talked to Jamie Green about the statewide septic code that they're trying to put on everybody that has a septic. tank.
Right.
All of a sudden you have to have a permit to operate it.
She slipped right into, she was another one.
And she's like, she's not doing anything about it.
Absolutely not.
And that's a violation of our properties, because the government has a right to regulate commerce, right? And so they can regulate the manufacture of it, say it has to be manufactured a certain way. They can regulate the guy installing it, but once it's in, it's private property. It's over on the left side of the wall there, right? This belongs to me. It's like, you can't touch it. You know?
I think I read an article, they said the average homeowner with all these laws that are passed to meet these new requirements, whether it's a rental or you own your home, is probably gonna be $30,000.
And what about when we can't have our gas stove or gas hot water heater or gas furnace because it's.
I buck the system as much as I can. I refuse to participate in the COVID scam. And, you know, we endeavor to try to do the right thing all the time. And if we can take back any powers without getting ourselves thrown in jail or hung on the main street, I want to do that.
I may be willing to go to jail for it. I don't know at this point, because what up, this election rolls around. If it goes the way it looks like it might go, what do we have then? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Because they're trying to steal
I
everything.
just don't know the right answer, and to me, the right answer is you gotta get enough people together that they can't get us all.
That's true, the broad diffusion of knowledge. I'm gonna be teaching to everybody that I see. I already am. The more I learn, the more I'm telling them. This is the way it's,
For sure.
this is what the law says, the law of the land constitution. This is what statute says, and if one is conflicting.
And I appreciate that effort. I mean, cause every person you can convince.
Sorry.
I think I heard too, if the basic laws from 1960s and 70s were 800 pages, there's probably 3,000 pages of amendments to those original laws that probably could be simplified,
Oh, yeah.
and abolished because it's so complex. And what happens is an attorney can take all these amendments and twist everything from the original. when you have all those amendments. If you have 6 or 8 amendments to the original law, a good attorney can twist that in a court of law.
They know how to work it, because that's how they make their bread and butter, right?
Right.
Billable hours.
Right, they come up with an idea that could be a one-page law, and it's a stack of paper this big.
Yeah, because everybody wants to get something.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And are there any other comments? Seeing none, we'll move on. No communication, approval of the agenda. I gave you guys some extra paperwork. I got the ordinance report after I produced this, but pretty early on. And then still, I got, some information on the Bell River Park. That was too late to put in the packet. I'd like to put that on, as the last thing on the, I mean, we can put it on old business or new business, doesn't matter, but on the last one of them. I think it could be old business. 'cause
Old
we've-
business, you
We've
want?
discussed it a lot.
So,
I
but you
thought,
want it to just be park?
just, park info.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of park info under old business. D as D.
I'll second.
Any other changes? Okay. Do that,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Berenger,
Yes.
Christie, yes, Duncan,
Yes.
Carrie. Okay, approval of minutes from April 9th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Report.
I'll support.
Hey, Christie, yes, Berenger.
Yes.
Gilman,
Abstain.
Oh, abstain?
Udek,
Yes.
Duncan,
Yes.
carried. Treasurer report.
Nothing really special. I'm getting money from the schools for the summer tax, so that's money's rolling in. I think there's a little error on the liquor control. I'm gonna have to look at it. I think you wrote a check wrong because liquor control is 650 going out of it. I think you did something for Tracy wrong.
I must have done it.
Like the
when I
wrong
did the
account,
wrong
yeah,
account.
yeah, so I'll fix that, so it just
Okay.
was the wrong GL number.
Yeah.
So I'll fix that. I noticed that this today. Otherwise, nothing special really.
I was so worried about that other one. I thought I made a mistake on. And I didn't.
Yeah, I know,
Motion to file.
I'll make a motion to file a treasury report.
Berenger,
Yes.
Duncan,
Oh, yes.
Christie, yes, Udek,
Yes.
carried. Check register. Speaking of streetlights, I have another call in to BTE about what their issue is on why they're taking so long in fixing those lights. They told me it wasn't an emergency since they turned the electric off.
You think that light it on fire or something, yeah. Something. You would think they have time right now, there's too much going, you know,
You would think.
they're too busy at my house, so.
Yeah. You probably stopped.
I know, right? They were driving toward there and the, oh no, Phoebe's house. Is everybody good on the check register?
I didn't have any issues.
Everybody else good? Okay. All right. I'd like to make a motion to approve check number 4584 to 4626. And the electronics of 100 to 101. With a total of 67,284.72.
Hey, Duncan,
Yes.
Dudek,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Berenger,
Yes.
yes. Carried. Okay, while we're here, I got this paper about the Clerks Association meeting on June 6th.
Isn't that B?
Yeah, that was on old business.
What
That was part of our old business.
is it?
Yeah.
Where? Oh, never mind. Never mind. I don't know, it got out of place on me. All right, ordinance report then. So. I went over all of this with Tracy. So I can talk about it.
Okay.
Because some of it doesn't make sense. So the first one. The next to smokehouse. Says misdemeanor ticket, not misdemeanor, it was a regular ticket. And we're waiting on a court date.
So it was a civil
It
infraction.
was a civil infraction and we're waiting on a court date. The guy is just stonewalling. Okay, the next one. Again, it's not a misdemeanor ticket and he's been written. And we're waiting on a court date. So, but we are forwarding them to the attorney. And we're gonna have him appear on these. And instead of just going and Tracy telling his side and the guy telling his side, and then they say $200 and the guy pays the bill and we're still stuck with the issue. The attorney is going to try to go at it more, do something to get them to comply. And we upped it to $500 fine because it's available for us to do that. So we made it $500 fine. That way he could negotiate if he needs to at court. And the higher amount should put a little more urgency into somebody to fix the issue.
Is he changing anything?
Who?
The attorney, is
Not,
he,
not at this point.
not at this point, okay.
At this point, there is some kind of latitude in there for him to ask for redress to get things fixed. You know what I mean? Instead of just leaving it like that and just, because that's what's been happening is when they go to court, they show the pictures. The guy says, yep, well, I tried my best to clean it up, and then they say $200 fine and they send him on his way. And that's clearly not working. I mean, we're getting progress done, but I'm sure not as fast as the board wants to get done, but. Tracy's showed renewed effort lately and we are getting some progress and we're trying to do the best we can. So we're trying to change it up a little bit, see what works better. We're trying to get more compliance. Compliance is more important than the money.
Of course.
So, we're just trying to change it up a little bit and I plan on meeting with the attorney on it. I've already talked with him plenty on it about, you know, we don't want to go and be a Gestapo to people, but we want to try to get things to work out. You know what I mean? And again, there's a lot of things that are up in the air, a lot of cases, and there's a lot more cases that haven't even been checked into. I mean, there's all kind of things going on in this township that could be looked at. And it's already, I think we're already at an overwhelming point that we need to just zero in on some of them and deal with them, like the 8902 one worked out pretty well, I think. And I think we ought to be picking on, you know, obviously work on ones we can, but at the same time, pick on certain ones that we got to try to settle, to try to deal with. So I think that goes in a matter of the egregiousness of the situation. That's how I feel anyhow. But going on, oh, I want you to know also that, Tracy's been going around taking signs down. He told me that he's taken a ladder with him in his truck and he's going around and getting signs off of poles and stuff. So he said he'll be doing that in the spring and fall. And, see what he can get done.
What sparked that?
What sparked that?
Yeah.
I know he did it when he first started.
Yeah.
Well, I think honestly, the board got upset a couple of months ago. I don't know what, it wasn't last month, month before
No,
maybe.
it was last month.
Was it last
Yeah.
month?
Yep.
All right, well, anyhow, and he was hurt by that, and I think he did some thinking and his renewed spirit about trying to do right, so we'll just see how it goes, I guess, you know. I mean, we can hope for the best. So, 2475 Ballman Road. So this one, the ticket was already issued, but the property owner made contact about the cleanup. They finished cleaning up. And this one's been closed for now. So they'll keep an eye on it, but that one's closed. All right, so 8895 Gratiot Road.
So what it says on here is not accurate.
Well, no, property owner contacts, they would clean up the building materials on the property, proceeded with court case awaiting arraignment. Yes, that is true. So we're probably gonna have to just cancel that when the court date comes, because the problem was evaded. Okay, so on the 8895, what he explained to me on this one was that the problem still exists. There's a couple of storage containers on there that are not supposed to be there. There's a travel trailer and such. But the guy that owned the property in the first place, he died and he didn't know who to contact, and he was just getting stuff returned from this Target Investments because you can't really cite an LLC very well. That's how it explained to me, but now he knows who is the right person to deal with, and he's proceeding forward on it. The next one, 9353 Gratiot. Okay, I brought a picture of this one. I want you to see it. This guy has got a greenhouse in his front yard,
Mhm.
but his whole front yard's a garden, it looks like to me.
He
And
just
the
got-
rest of his yard, well, just let me say what I'm saying.
Okay,
All right, the rest of the yard is like treed and then it goes down behind the house. I'm just saying personal here. It's a little greenhouse, which is a removable. It's, some greenhouses are built right in and cemented in the ground, but this is just a little like shed thing. And I don't know where else he could put it on that little yard,
He probably can't, because I've looked at.
but here, I want you guys to look at.
I've looked at the,
I don't think that one's.
but that, he told him he just had to go to the ZBA. I'm sure the ZBA would probably approve it because he really has no place else to go. He doesn't. He's got 2 parcels, but on that parcel, there is no other place. But the zoning ordinance says you can't have a structure in front of your house unless you go to the ZBA and get the.
And I know that's what the ordinance says.
Mhm, mhm.
I'm just saying my personal thought, a temporary structure and it's a little one and I don't think that this is one of the major
I think
priorities.
that there's other ones that need a lot more attention, like that one, that Target one, because that's been there forever.
So,
And I think somebody's living in that building.
and that's just
Not-
my thought on where this one's going. I haven't instructed him to pursue that. 10390 Gratiot. Okay, so this is the one that. It's next to 10344 on Gratiot, down where the dance studio thing used to be back in the day. So. The people have done nothing. And it sounds like they're not planning on cooperating and the house. It is in very bad disrepair and. We could have it. Condemned, I would think, would be the right thing to do. And then they would have to, it would go to the courts and they'd have to do something with it. But,
Is that what happens for condemned? We don't have to do the work, or do we?
This says the second reinspection is scheduled for 3/11/24, and during the reinspection, a notice of condemnation will be issued.
yeah, but I don't think he did.
But I don't think he did. But that thing he said
How can he
about,
do all that? I guess. I've had a problem with this one from the beginning, though. If they just re-roof the house, it's totally fine.
Well, but that's, my understanding was that it's not fine on the inside.
well, they stripped the inside.
Yeah,
I've
the
heard.
inside strip.
That's what he
what-
says,
that's-
right?
No, somebody.
That's what somebody else said that he said,
who
that he
lives
heard
next
from
door-
somebody else.
Somebody who lives next door to them said, but here's the thing, this
And
thing
nobody's
is.
been living in this thing for
No.
years.
But here's the thing, when he said that he was told they had to sell it or fix it or tear it down. I don't think there's any ordinance that
He can't
says
tell them that.
you have to list your house for sale.
Okay,
I've checked with a couple other building officials and none of them said they had ever heard of anything like
but
that.
he just gave them that as an option.
I
Yeah, because you'd have due process on
Oh, no,
something
he's
I
like
don't
that.
think he
I-
has the
we can't
authority to
force-
say that.
You can't force anybody to sell their property,
you
but what he
can't.
was saying, I get what he was, the light of what he was saying was. Fix it. Or tear it down or sell it,
These people are
but you gotta
from-
do something with it.
These people are from like Yugoslavia or someplace like that, and I don't think they truly get the whole idea.
Well, they
what
did,
it's-
they think that their grandson's gonna go
Right.
right there,
But
and it's been sitting there for like 20 years. Of nobody living
it's
in
been
it.
empty for a long time, yeah.
What's the
they're
difference if
paying-
nobody lives in it?
Well,
If it's
because,
got a roof on it, who cares?
But
well,
again,
the point is
It's not
that
falling
it
down.
goes into disrepair.
Yeah, but if it has a roof on it,
but here's
it's
the other,
not falling down. What do we have to say anything about that?
and here's the thing, the house, so that's the dance place, that house he's talking about, the next house. This house here is an abandoned house also. It's on Jeremy's property. It's abandoned. I see holes in the roof of that one. He didn't point that one out.
The only reason he brought this one up was because the guy that was gonna buy the old dance studio weed building, I think wanted to buy it too.
Oh,
So he was working some deal with this property and that property. That's the only reason he got involved. Otherwise, he would have never done anything.
I mean, they're paying tax on it,
And I
you
had-
know, and for a
I
house.
understand it has
they're
holes in
paying-
the roof. They should absolutely
You
re-roof.
know, so.
Beyond that, who cares?
There's an abandoned house on my road. It's been abandoned for probably 30 years and it's on this report.
Okay, hang on. The house at the end of Werner, right at the corner, that they're trying to sell us,
Mhm.
it's like a shed.
Oh, yeah, that.
We know
The
that.
whole roof's caved in. He hasn't done anything about that one.
That's
but he's
the
all
one
over
we were
this-
gonna buy for the cemetery.
Yeah, they wanted.
A lot, yeah.
Like
I mean,
60,000.
Within reason,
To me, that should be more for like like barns that are falling and you see them all the time, like falling down, blah, 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 and that's just this building up.
this one won't be far away if they don't put a roof on it.
Mhm.
So I guess the whole roof part.
So what do you wanna do? What do you want me to tell him? To let it lay?
I don't know, I could see
To tell him?
if there's something he can do to tell them to get a roof on it, but he can't tell them they have to sell it. Yeah, I mean, he had all these, and he had to bring it completely up to code or it wouldn't pass. If no one's living in it, who cares?
And then said they would put it up for sale by owner and he told them that they couldn't do
Yeah, they
it.
couldn't put it up for sale by owner,
I
right?
checked and that's not true.
Alright, so you agree, make him fix the roof?
If that would be enough to save the property,
Well, then
I mean,
they're still
that's.
paying taxes on it. They mow the grass.
Yeah, so they're paying for a house.
Shingles are blowing off. It's got some holes. Cause I got out and looked at it the one day and it does look like it's starting to get
Yeah,
sketchy. But if they repaired the roof and they keep mowing the grass, I'm fine with that.
And you said they're not behind on their taxes.
Not that I know of.
so there's probably no
I mean,
insurance.
if not, they're, you know,
Alright, I'll tell him to pursue that. Then. I'll tell him fix the roof within a certain amount of time, or he'll ticket them, and we'll go like that. At least that's something. Alright, 2620 Ellsworth.
That's the one I just said. That's,
Okay,
it's got a
so,
tree growing up in the middle of it.
so apparently he is doing something about this one. He ticketed them and he, apparently they said they were gonna raise it and they didn't.
Yeah.
And so he's ticketing. Okay, 94 Wales. So here's the one, this guy's got, couple of containers up by the house. And he's been just given excuses. So he issued a ticket. The guy is given excuse, and I know it's not just an excuse that his dad died, but his dad died is not a reason to not take care of business.
I think he added to it even afterwards, you know,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Okay. And then 2715 Chrome. So I think this one is 2715 kroner. Okay, it is. So he's come up with this idea of chop it up into different zones and have her fix this one, then clean up that one, then clean up that one with some dates on it.
That's Warner.
Is this a different one?
Yeah, this is a different one. That's Warner.
All right, never mind. We'll add this one.
Oh,
to
that's at
right-
the last.
I'm
vote.
sorry.
Okay.
All right, so at least this. It looks like he's had discussions with her and they're planning on trying to clean it up. But he did show me that, that's why I thought it was this one. He showed me that one online too, that yard looks about the same as this one. All right, 1963 Palms Road. This one's like kind of a new one, so it's not too far down the line of. But he's not had any response from the owners. 9156 Rattle Run. Junk cars and a camper. There again, no response from the customer or the resident. Now this 2133 Warner Road one. This here, look at. Check it out, that's the deal that he worked out with her on the phone, and he sent her a copy of it. And she needs to sign it and send it back, and that hasn't happened yet.
So it's that bad that they have to do it in sections?
Oh, it's bad.
apparently? Yeah.
Yeah, it's years and years of accumulated junk.
Is she
It's
elderly?
John Schuster, it's John Schuster's house,
Oh.
and that's
okay.
his daughter, moved in after he
Yep,
passed.
Okay.
so
Got
she's
it.
got a mess to deal with.
I mean,
Wow.
she probably spent 3 months emptying the house out.
Oh, joy.
And then there's a couple of new cases that are just starting. You know, yeah. But
Okay. Yeah, well, that's a good idea to do big jobs
just want
like
to state
that.
that he,
He
That's a
told
good
me that
idea.
he said to her, and you can't take that pile of junk and move it over to the next, to the next grid. You have to clean that grid up. But there's one whole section that looks like all wood. So she probably could call the fire department, get a fire, and then there's like one is all scrap metal.
and like I said, there's probably 100 other properties at least that we could be messing with, but. I think we need to pare some of these
It'd be
down.
nice to get rid of some of these, yeah,
Cause,
some of these more.
yeah, we don't want to be in court all the
Yeah.
time, and I understand it's not picking on people, but. When so many years have gone by of so many things that you gotta start whittling them down.
And when the neighbors complain, because I know I wouldn't want to live next door to that.
Right, and I know some people say we don't do anything, but, I mean, we are making progress, just slowly, so. At least we're heading in a good direction on things.
A 1540 Bauman. That's considered a gazebo.
You know, he just called it that because it has no sides on it. But it's really, I said the same thing. I said, isn't that more like a pavilion?
Yeah.
And he,
What would happen if you had a metal, you know, they sell those metal carports and you slid it in there?
well, now that
There's
would
no
be
rule
fine.
against
But
that
you have to get a permit for
That
that
would-
too.
for a metal carport,
Yeah, you-
temporary carport?
You do.
He told
Oh,
me
you have to have a
that the
permit for
problem
temporary
is,
anyway.
it's a fire hazard
Here's
too.
the,
Yeah,
his issue with that
it's very, yeah.
is that there's no setbacks made for it. One roof is hanging over the roof of the other building, and he's saying that fire can jump from building to building like that, and it's just not safe.
It's like connecting, like if the barn got on fire, it would connect and it would go to the house.
Right, but
Yeah.
by
Alright.
putting a fire door on the house, that was gonna stop that. It wouldn't burn through the wall.
Well,
I don't know what he
I
said.
don't know what it would burn through. Don't you have to have a certain kind of wall there then?
You'd have to change the wall, yeah. You'd have to have different, you'd have to have FR rated drywall on that. wall.
Okay, so he could probably,
But he said the only thing he had to do was put a smoke detector in the carport, whatever you wanna call it, that would signal in the house. And he had to change the door to a F or like a fire rated door.
okay, I
With no
don't,
glass in it.
No way.
I don't know exactly.
What
I,
the things.
you know, I don't do that. I don't know what the
Yeah.
rules are on that, but. It was my understanding that. He was unwilling to work with them on. On taking care of the issue.
Yeah, I think he wrote that
And then
right
just,
in there.
and then finished it
Yeah.
or something. and
We're not
yeah.
worried that that was caused by something else.
What's the matter?
I don't,
That Tracy just happened to suddenly realize that was there. and
but you can't help but see it.
If there's, and as a building official too, he, had, you know,
Yeah, a building official that may have. You know,
I mean, it's
not
right on-
saying that he doesn't follow the rules, but
But I don't think he had an ulterior motive
think
on
they're
that,
gonna
because
listen.
it's not like him and Tony have been, at each other
Okay.
or anything. I don't know where the original thing came from, if he drove by and saw it or what.
no, supposedly somebody filed a complaint.
If there's a way that they could both work it out, then I would hope that he would get with, Tracy and
and
make
just
that
fix it.
happen.
I mean, simple, yeah.
I think Tracy, when he talked to me about it, was more like you said, a fire hazard and a safety issue than
Yeah.
anything.
Well, that's what he complained to me, is that he thought it was a safety issue and that the homeowner was unwilling to do anything to fix the issue. So, I don't know where that really is.
I mean, I don't see the problem with that, if that's. You have anything else?
I have nothing else. I just wanted to
Good.
go through it since I sat down and took the time with him to go over every one of them. I wanted to explain.
I'll make a motion to file the ordinance report.
Second,
I did.
Angie done.
any other questions? Okay. Furniture,
Yes, yes,
Duncan,
Yes.
Christie, yes. Dudek,
Yes,
Gilman? Yes. Carried. Assessor report, there was none this month. Old business, election update. You're on.
well, I just wanted you to know that well, you know that story there, where they said I lied about that election early voting thing, but I did not. And I filed to get reimbursed for the presidential primary to the tune of about $10,000 or close to it. Unfortunately, our next election will be more because I didn't split 50-50 the election workers because she used more of her workers, and because it was going to be reimbursed, she just said, the Casco said they would just bill that to the state. So that's gonna be kind of a ballpark, a little bit over that amount, just so you know, for each election. But we get reimbursed for nothing from here on out.
Okay, but we budgeted
We should have budgeted enough.
probably a good amount.
I may have
Alright.
made one mistake because I thought if you had 3 poll workers, one could be the chair. But they said, no, there has to be a 4th person there.
Come on.
Yeah, I know. 4th person, I had 8 people do early voting in 9 days. 8 people from Columbus voted. So between the two of us, we had like 60. So you figure that by 9 days, 4 people.
So what are you gonna do for food for everybody?
Well, that was the other thing I wanted to bring up because it's such a struggle to get everybody to bring things. It's just so much. And I have so much else that I don't want to spend 2 days hounding people. I know you okayed the Board of Review to get $150 for food for the 4 of them, and that was 12 hours. If I could get 500, I'm gonna have like 15 people.
And they're same people are here for what, 12 or 15
Well,
hours?
16 hours minimum. So,
That's a lot of pizza.
that's a lot of people, but I think kind of, like I could do the breakfast thing easy. I just do donuts and bagels, coffee, water. They don't drink anything else. And then lunch, I thought I could do like Subway or something. And I'm not gonna go like, I'm not doing Chinese.
And
or
you'll
anything
provide
crazy.
receipts afterwards, so.
Yeah,
for what Subway and that, you gotta check on that movable piece in Memphis about what kind of lunch they
Oh, that's
can.
I don't know what
idea.
that, I don't know what that is.
There's
Yeah.
a place, a catering place in Memphis called a Movable Feast
Oh,
and really good food.
Yes,
better than Subway then.
Oh,
Where is it?
it's right on Main Street.
I'm also
They
doing
do-
like,
do
where
they do it like
is-
lunch
Next to the
or
air
dinner?
place.
oh, she
yeah.
makes all different things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, does it have the sign out or no?
It's on the glass.
Okay, cause I always looked like, where's the sign? I've heard of it, but I didn't, okay.
Yeah, really.
On
good
the
food.
glass,
And
okay.
Then I'll call there and get some idea.
I'll bet you 10, 12 bucks, you can get a lunch and thing or whatever, and they might even drop it off.
Oh, I bet they would deliver. You
Yeah.
tell them I need 12 of these meals. And they even have a menu. There might be 2 or 3 different things they could order
Okay.
from.
That's a good idea. I never heard of that place, but that would work.
Oh, yeah,
So let's make a motion for some spendage on that.
I'll make a motion to approve the clerk up to $500 for food expenses. To feed the election workers.
I'll second.
Okay. Christie, yes. Dudek,
Yes.
Duncan,
Yes.
Keelman,
Yes.
Berenger,
Yes.
Carrie. Do you have anything else on elections?
Well, just the clerk meeting, which is.
That's the next item.
That's the
We
next
can't talk
item.
about
No,
that
we
on
cannot.
this.
No, that's pretty much it. I may have to order a few supplies, but I kind of over ordered on some of the stuff that I got a better price, and I did talk to the county clerk about, and I talked to my printer about approaching them about printing the ballots, and he's going to start printing the ballots for the county, which means I can get my test deck a lot cheaper, because it cost me $756.
Yeah, for how much we're wasting on elections.
Yeah, I spent $756 for that because
To
the
try to
clerk,
save some money on supplies would be. good.
yeah, well, they didn't know how to send the PDF to my printer, so he could do. But now, since he'll be doing the ballots, he'll be able to do the test deck, and he told me it would be maybe $80 a precinct, so it would be under 200 compared to $756. Casco had them test their equipment, and it cost her over $8,000, so I may be going over there and helping her to do her own testing to save some money for them. And then when we go to the meeting, I'm gonna try to talk to them about what I told you last month when the county clerk made that decision that we're going to do that. If we need the tabulators service work done, they're gonna charge by the hour instead of splitting it up. I figured she's $300 an hour. They're from Grand Rapids, so a half-hour job would be $1,950, or if we did the one flat rate and split it up for the whole election, it would be $956, and I may not use it, but what if I do? You know,
We better
but
just
she,
go back to hand count.
well, last time I had to fix a tabulator because you can't make people stand there, so then you have to drop the ballots in the back, and people are not comfortable if they don't see it go through that machine and say, yes, your ballot was accepted, so. I do have a new tabulator, which is a little bit better, but the bin that it's on is the cheapest thing you could ever see.
Okay. Next clerk meeting. So
This
this
is
is about the meal for the clerk meeting.
Yep, this is the meal, and this is the county clerk quarterly meeting, and they are going to actually have somebody from the Bureau of Elections there to talk. Which,
And of course, you'll come back and give a report.
well, I'm writing questions down right now because I have several. I called the Bureau of Elections yesterday to ask questions, and I didn't want to call last week because they had elections, and this week they're all in training, so nobody could talk to me.
I'll make a motion to approve paying for the meeting, the clerk meeting for the clerk.
$30, no tip.
All right.
That's a tip included.
Okay, Dudek,
Yes.
Christie, yes. Berenger,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Duncan.
Yes.
Carrie. Okay, 123.net agreement. The long and short of this is they sold the company and they want to transfer their agreement that we are just made with them a couple months ago to the new company.
I'll make a motion to approve the transfer of control over 123.net to, is it the Net Holdings or is it the Green Management? 123 Net Holdings, I think that,
Signed purchase agreement
With
with Net
what?
Holdings.
so 123 Net Holdings, which is managed by Green Management. So,
Holdings is owned by Grain Management. Yeah.
yeah,
So who am I putting in? Grain management?
I think that you just add the word holdings to it
Interest.
now. I think it's just 123 Net Holdings.
Oh, instead of just 123.net?
Yeah, it's 123 Net Holdings LLC.
I consent to the change of control from 123.net Inc. to 123 Net Holdings LLC.
Okay, so yeah.
I'll support.
Oh,
Okay, Berenger,
Yes.
Duncan,
Yes.
Christie, yes. Dudek,
Yes,
Gilman. Yes. Carried. Okay, parking goal. So I have tried high and low for the past couple of years to get people interested in doing projects at the park. And what keeps happening is they come to the park, they look things over, then they end up sending me like, I don't know what, if it's like, almost like a resume of what they do. But they do these $2,000 or $3,000 projects where they do the whole park and they pave the sidewalks and they do, it's all really nice and they don't want to do a little rural park. That's the issue I'm running into. Now, if I could just hire anybody off the street that don't need insurance or to be a real company, I got hundreds of those. But that's not the way we fly. We have to have it be a real company. We have to have them have insurance to do the work. That causes the issue. Mr. Schwartz from TD Enterprises, told me he'd try to make it tonight. Apparently, he got held up working. But these are the proposals he came up with the amount of money I told him we had to work with.
what is TD Enterprises? What kind of
What does
company
it
is?
stand for?
Like, what is it? Like in Memphis?
construction company.
It's
Is it a construction company? Okay, okay.
Yeah, like, sometimes they'll build a big giant factory building and take 2 years doing it.
Okay.
And
okay.
sometimes they're, I don't know, all kinds, they'll do little jobs and big jobs. They, couple years ago, they did a roof for me to connect a couple of outbuildings I had in the back of the station and like that.
So
So they'll do little jobs, big jobs, whatever.
this, bathroom,
This bathroom is a dry bathroom. It has upgrades available for it. I went with the concrete idea rather than a wood one because it won't deteriorate. And it's tougher in the first place. But so it'll have a tank under it, a 750 gallon tank, and then this sets down on it. And, there's upgrades that you can buy, like if you want to put solar panels on it to make a light up in there. But it's got these little windows on the side to put sunlight in there.
so
Or you could add an underground tank and have it have some water if you wanted to. Or you could run electric to it. There's different upgrades you could do to it even after it's there. So that's something to think about too.
when it's waterless, but then what, you just have those like dispensers with soap in it,
Yeah, waterless thing to wipe your hands and,
paper towel?
Probably not.
Probably not, yeah.
that would be up to us if we
Yeah,
wanted to.
well,
put
that would make
towel
a
in there.
mess.
That would be,
Yeah,
Paper towels are
because,
messy.
Terry would have to go over every week and service this
Right.
thing.
Right,
And, oh. There,
did Mike ever get prices on bathrooms? Because I know he spent quite a while looking those up.
well, he sent me all that information
Mhm.
and we can pick. I mean, we could pick from all kind of bathrooms, but they're all pretty comparable on price.
Did you ask around to the other townships, like who they've used?
Yep,
Okay.
Riley doesn't remember who they use.
Okay, I was like, what about Riley? I remember that Smiths Creek, they haven't, that would be Kimball more, but,
You know,
they're trying to get different
I would say
parts.
East China has a whole bunch of parks in that, but Pat and I went and checked them out when we first were gonna start developing, and I don't remember them ever telling us who they use for the bathroom.
So then there was this play equipment. There was, when I went up to the MTA trade show thing they had going on conference, they had these playground companies there, and there's like 3 or 4 companies that sell all the same kind of stuff. And so you're really basically just ordering the stuff out of one of them books and then getting it installed.
I kind of don't like this. I think nobody uses these swings anymore, nobody. And like this slide thing might be okay, but I don't know about this other stuff. I'm just not sure about this one. When we were on the board for the St. Clair County Parks, remember Bruce? Didn't you get a bunch of email from those different companies with all the equipment? They had some beautiful equipment.
Yeah.
They haven't been sending them to me lately, probably because we're not on the board anymore. But,
That's over though.
oh, they just.
That disbanded.
Oh, that's why we get nothing.
That was just a development for,
Oh, okay.
and then once they got everything basically going, they disbanded
I
that.
Did you
just feel
ask the
like-
county park, like who they use, the Columbus County Park?
Yeah.
You did too? Okay.
That's when we used to go and we
Yeah,
had.
but like I did, the
Yeah.
ask who they use for this
Yeah.
stuff, you know?
Yeah, they just order out of the book.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't, these seem a little outdated to me.
You tell Bruce doesn't have young children.
What did you say?
My kids, to me, it looks like a toddler playground.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I just was at a playground with my 2
Like my kids would probably break the
Yeah,
frog.
or- Or 3.5 and 9, they would not go on any of this stuff.
That slide, you know,
And then another idea is, a pavilion. And I was thinking with the pavilion, 20 by 30, 8 foot tall, that it would come with cement floor and that we would get some picnic table type stuff to secure right down to the cement in there.
And then we could name it the Pat Eisler Memorial Pavilion, because we should do something to honor her when she's gone. I told her that as a joke one time and she laughed at me.
Well, cause she thought that park was gonna be bad news.
Yeah, I know, but I
That
said.
might be the wrong place to put it, cause she did not like the idea of that at all.
When we got that grant to get rid of that log jam, she put the money in the bank and I kept saying, Pat, I know there's gotta be a deadline. We've got to get that done. And she's like, well, you won't worry about it. And then I get an email, you have till the end of September or you're losing the money. And now it's June already. So then we had to scramble.
Right. So there's some ideas. And based on the costs, I didn't pursue it any further at this point, but, you know.
Well,
We can change it or.
The thing I noticed with the pavilion is if you're just gonna put a metal roof truss building up and there is vinyl soffit included, I think you'd wanna put a ceiling in there. Otherwise, if it's open trusses and open, it's gonna be a birdhouse. And what are the birds gonna do?
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah,
Yep,
so you got,
I hate birds, yeah.
right, you can't make a roosting place for them, so we'd wanna add and put a ceiling in there. So that there's no place for the birds to hang out.
Or did they make ones without the, you know, I'm trying to think, cause they have one in K-Pac, I'm trying to remember, cause they have a pavilion there. And
Yeah, I don't know,
it's-
like
you
what,
know,
I haven't been
they
over
go up more?
to Goodall's in years to see, I just wondering if there's somebody that could have a metal. Fabricated one, you know, completely metals
Yeah.
would be safer too than having wood. Cause the other thing I thought of was put a ceiling in there, it'd be less chance of kids going in there and starting a fire or something and burning it. If it's, you know. If it's sealed up, there's be less chance of it, I would think.
And all this would go in the developed part of the park, like the.
Yep.
Beginning part of everything. Does it,
Yep,
Does
and we could decide exactly by whoever's interested in going out there with me and we could stake out wherever you wanna put stuff or.
Well, Like,
or
there's gotta be some
market.
restriction where you can put the bathroom, right?
Yep,
Because of the river.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Remember what
You wanna put that close right up to the parking area somewhere, I
Yeah,
would
it,
think.
remember that, where that, do you remember what the old ones were?
Yep, I know where there were.
yeah, I know where the
You can still
footings
see
were
it
roughly.
there.
Yeah.
Did you guys ride horses there?
Yeah, we had horses. Just joking. You better go.
From school, they had to stop off.
And we walked uphill the street.
I know, right? Yeah, exactly. But, has he done a park before, this guy? Has he done park stuff?
Yeah, he's done this kind of stuff.
He's done
before.
parks before, okay.
And
Okay.
if we make a decision to do something, well, I don't think we should tonight anyway, but did he give you like a time frame, like when he'd be available to do it? That would it be done this summer?
Yes,
We have to have that money
Designated.
designated by the end of the year, but we have next
Yeah,
year too.
under contract.
Right,
Okay.
You have to be
Okay.
under contract to somebody with that before the end of the year.
okay.
Yeah, I like the idea of everything. I'm just not familiar with, I just wanna make sure somebody legit is doing it and I'm
Well,
not.
Priority one should be the bathroom,
Yeah,
in my opinion, right now.
yep.
And the other thing is would you really wanna lay any of the stuff out and wait until the electrical contractors come down there to fix our lights? Because aren't they gonna have to reroute electrical?
Yep. I mean, they're probably gonna go the exact same route they went last time, but they have to run new wire because they're doing it different.
It follows the park plan though that we had, doesn't it?
I was just
Yeah,
gonna
we
say,
are.
what about our part? Yeah.
I mean,
Follow the park
It's pretty
plan.
much on it anyways.
Excuse me?
You-
The
Pretty close to
master-
the master plan for that anyway.
That plan had a spot for the bathroom, yeah.
How much money's in that we can use?
We
19,
have,
we have 198, 198,000.
So this is,
and we have some park money in
yeah,
there
I'm gonna say
too, so.
this is a little,
Then we have park, yeah.
this adds up to a little
Well,
too.
this is a good start. We just need to see if we can get anybody else to, maybe look at it or bid.
You know somebody Stan?
What about the guy in town, Armada, that builds all the pole barns?
Oh, Orchard Construction?
Orchard?
Yeah, I was gonna see if the Amish out of Brown City, if they'd be, about the pavilion.
Right.
There's a reason everybody gets them for pole barns. You
Well,
can't
who
beat
put
the
up all the
price.
ones at New Haven. It's, their new fancy Taj Mahal there on Gratiot. They've got some nice,
What, control bars?
no, they've got like,
Marijuana homes?
no, at
It's
the
a New Haven.
Lennox Township Hall.
Oh, the Lennox,
Oh,
oh.
oh,
Lennox.
oh.
Yeah, because they've got like pavilion areas. Those are nice. They're huge, but
I can call,
Yeah, would Swan Tech know? who-
yeah, I'll call Carol tomorrow.
yeah, I don't know. Worth a shot. I don't remember there being anything on the inside of them. Like they were covered, I think.
Yeah, they're steel structured though, but they're minimal
Yeah,
trusses, I think, are hidden.
I'll call her tomorrow.
there was no birds in them. No that.
Send me.
It seems like wood
interested in
makes
doing it.
roofs for birds.
Oh, yeah.
Cause I'm done wasting my time with people that
Stan,
don't wanna do it.
you're gonna call about the pavilion too. I'll call Carol and see who they use.
Pavilion and bathroom. See if, just so we got something to compare with.
And they've got a playground out there. I'll just, she's really good about letting me know.
Cause it don't matter to me who we use, but I wanna get something done.
Yeah, we
Yep.
kind of,
Keep
we have to
it, keep
commit
it,
this
yeah,
money.
keep it
or
going.
lose it.
Yep, I agree.
Okay.
So somebody wanna
I'll
table
make
it?
a motion to table it and come back next month with more info.
I'll second the motion.
Gilman,
Yes.
Ranger,
Yes.
Hudak,
Yes.
Duncan?
Yes.
Would you say yes?
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, whoever you do talk to, tell them to get on the stick and let's take care of it quickly because time's a waste. Or as my dad used to say, you're burning daylight.
No, I just watched that John Wayne movie for the Cowboys, and that's what he said
Yeah,
in the movie all the time.
all right, choice one. You're on.
So the CD is up for expiration, end of this week. They do offer a CDR, like, North Star. I kind of copied all the emails to show that, it is a little lower, rate because they pay for the insurance of it. They pay for the FDIC insurance premium, so that's a slightly lower rate. Or there's the regular CDs also.
CDR.
Those are where you can have over 250,000 if you want, you know,
And it's covered.
and they'll
Because-
split it up just like North Star. I even wrote it on the email. So yeah, you split it up and it goes to different banks. So they split it up among different banks,
That was the one.
just like North Star.
Yeah,
Yeah,
North Star, so then we don't have to worry if we go over like this last
Exactly.
one where we have to take money out.
exactly. Yep.
I think that.
So I mean,
might be-
we don't have to do over 250,000, but if it happens to go over, we don't have to worry or
Right.
anything like that, you
I'll
know.
say, but to me, that kind of makes sense because you're running out of places to go too.
Well, that's why I got two more that I found, so.
So this
but-
other one's not covered? Or is
No,
that
they
covered,
are covered, but
But
the
only up
data-
to 250?
Correct, yes. Yep. But, and I also, so in that account, we have, let me see, they sent me a notice on it, cause they don't always give me the interest, like what it is on top of it. Renewal balance will be 235,384, so it's around 235,000. So it's still under, we still have room to, you know, grow in it too.
It won't make it to 250 by the end of the 1 year term.
It possibly would go over, but if we do a 1 year turn, then, you know, we can always get it out right then and there, you know.
Right, but then what I'm saying is you could take advantage of the rate
Yes, yes,
and.
and then move to the
and-
CDR later.
And then a year from now, jump over to the other.
Yeah,
one.
yep, exactly. That's what I'm saying. We're under 200, you know, we have room to grow anyways.
But the
so,
interest rate on 180 days is more.
Yep,
It is,
yep, a little, yep, yep.
but.
Whatever you guys want.
Whatever your choice, let's go. What do you think?
Well, I think I'll make a motion that we renew the CD for 180 days at 4.89%. And then reconsider maybe going to the CDR then.
Second?
I'll support.
And approximately.
Yeah, approximately 235.
235.
Okay, do that,
Yes.
Furniture,
Yes,
Gilman,
Yes.
Duncan,
Yes.
Christie, yes. Terry. Okay. Bank rates, new account.
Okay, if we talked last month about possibly moving some more money out of our general fund and into another bank account. So I got two options. The first one is the Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union. We would need to have a checking or savings account. They said a certain type of account, so we would need only $5 in there. There's some good rates on that one. There's a promotional, if you look at the second page, there's a 11-month promotional for 5.4%, and that's for new money, and would be new money, you know, so I thought that was a really good deal. And there also is First National Bank, and that's their rates there too, and we don't need a checking or savings for them. So, and then on this the page after that, I just put what our current balance is in general fund. It was 550, so it's as of when Angie put all the checks in, just to see how much we wanted to even move out if we do decide to do that, so,
Is any of that ARPA money?
no.
Okay.
So both of these are accounts that we don't not have now.
Yes,
Goodness.
well. This
I would say
Michigan School of Government,
put some money in each of them.
yeah.
Yeah, how can we split it though?
Hold on, I wanna make sure that ARPA money's not included in that. Cause I remember thinking that before, and I just wanna make sure, cause it's not counted for as revenue yet, but I just wanna make sure of that too. Let me look at the bank statement really fast. That would be important. General fund. Okay. No, I think ARPA is in there,
So
cause
that
we
would-
do have that money in our account. And the 208, 212, 226, 249. Wait, 226. I'm sorry. Hold on one moment. I just wanna make sure I do everything right. So. Cash balance. Oh, here we go. 570. 96 would be for the 208. Yep, that's the parks. 2000 would be liquor. 171, that's garbage. And 249 is 32. So yes, no, ARPA is included in that amount of the 570.
It is.
Yes,
included.
it is included in that, because it's a cash.
Well,
It's
there ain't
cash,
as
but
much
it's
in
not
there as you
included.
thought to move that. Because if we use that ARPA money for park projects, that's gonna,
That'd knock it down 200.
yeah.
Would knock it down 200, yes.
And then if we go big on some road work this year, which I'm hoping.
I mean, if all else fails, I can always keep these,
Right,
just know we have a lot of money in our account, but hopefully we can start spending it,
right.
That's the thing,
No, I,
because it
think
is
we
a
need to-
high balance.
we need to pursue. And see if we can get the road commission to do some work this year, so,
They sprayed my road today,
well, that's not
but
adequate.
not gravel. Gravel was, my road was one of the ones, so they didn't, so they haven't started graveling anybody yet.
I
Yeah,
haven't,
other townships.
Oh,
I thought I heard yet another township.
we were supposed to be first this year and
Oh, first out of Clint's crew. Where whoever Clint is in charge of.
he's in charge of 6 townships.
And we're supposed to be first out of him. That's the story.
I know they always try to go to the north end first, because that's the farthest haul from the yard in Green City. I don't think it's fair. I think,
So is there any point in starting anything? with
If all
that?
else fails, we can just see how we are at the end of the year, we just keep an eye
Yeah.
on it, and I'll just hold these two. I've been holding the one forever, so I'll just hold these banks and then look at the current rates when we are like, hey, we didn't spend a lot of money,
so we just wanna do this as an FYI then.
just no action taken
Okay.
or whatever.
Cause these other ones are set in stone. You can
Those ones-
touch those accounts.
So, I mean, you can touch some of them, yeah. There's money markets and there's savings. Those ones you can touch. They're liquid. The ones that are CDs, you can't touch. But like, if you see Freestar Money Market, you can touch that money. If you see,
Like
the,
Genesis, can you do that?
nope, that's a CD.
Okay, what about Huntington? That's a CD?
That's a CD. PNC, you can touch that one. That's a money
North Star.
market.
Can't touch that.
North Star, you can't. Citizens, you can touch that. That's a savings. Comerica Bank, that one's a money market. You can touch that one too. So we have like 4 or 5 that we can touch.
Okay. Cause you could. That's probably the best to do, but I'm saying you could take some out of some of them if you.
And put it in there,
if you
you're
wanted
saying.
to.
Yep.
But
Yeah, they are
it's
all
not like
pretty,
These banks are not going anywhere.
Yeah.
They'll be available.
and no matter what, they are all a higher balance anyway. I mean, 232 for Comerica Bank. I mean, what we put 10,000, and it's like, what's the point, so. But yeah, I'll just hold these then. And yeah,
All right. So just no decision then, right?
yep.
The land split fees. Here's this story. We charge $125 application fee to do land split. Other townships are charging per parcel. So I think we need to change ours to per parcel.
Oh, okay.
That's not a big deal, just.
So you're saying,
So if you have one huge piece of property and you're chopping it up into 5 properties, that's a lot of work for,
Oh, I see what you're
For them
saying.
to do.
So you do 5.
and at the, you know, and we're sending part of the money to the county anyhow. And so.
no, we aren't, that's separate, the
That's a
30,
separate check.
Oh,
It's
all right,
but that's okay.
but anyhow,
yeah.
there's a lot of work involved in that. And then. After all that gets done, Christine brought this to me, and after all that gets done, and you make. The original parcel that you're chopping up into 5 parcels, and then you only get $125, and other townships are getting that per parcel. And she just thinks that we need to get with the program.
So when you combine 2 parcels, are you gonna have, just get charged 1 or 2?
One,
Okay, so.
because it's going to end up being the final amount of
So the
parcel.
final, okay, got it. That's a good way to put it. Okay.
So if you have a parent parcel and you chop 5 off of it, now you got 6 to charge for.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
So the total number at the end, got it.
So it's whatever you end up with that you charge per parcel.
Okay,
All right, I'm gonna make a motion to approve raising or changing the application fee for a split to go per parcel.
It's a split combined fee.
yep, it's split combined, yep. State per parcel,
And to be charged 125 per parcel,
is there any other way you can word it?
Per-
Make it like,
per,
Just, I got change split combo fee to per parcel.
that's a-
Cause we're not changing the price.
I know, but just
But
the
that's-
wording of
yeah,
it, cause I was confused at first,
Yeah.
you know, but once you,
change
change-
split combination.
once you said like at the end of it, I don't know how you would word it, you
Yeah.
know?
All right, to per parcel
At the,
of ending parcels,
of ending amount,
ending number
ending number
of parcels
of parcels.
at
Final,
125.
final.
Or-
At final number, there we go, now we're getting fancier, okay. Final number of parcels.
I got a question.
Total number of parcels created.
Number 3, it says, okay, all
There we
county
go.
drains,
Cause the original one counts.
Yeah, but that would be a new parcel, because that, you would be creating.
I got a
new parcel
question
there.
here with this wording. All county drains, natural waterways, underground pipelines, cross culverts, and any outlets from farm tile drainage fields on adjacent property must be shown on the survey.
You don't care about that. That's, I only made this to show you what the fee was.
What is your problem with that?
The rules are the rules.
That's-
Oh, I was gonna say, how would they know that if something is tiled or not?
Well, the person that owns the property would know, wouldn't you think? But that's just requirements by either the assessor or the county to do the split. We're not trying to change the rules of how to do the combo split. We're just,
You're just
Because
changing.
they
we're just
do-
talking about the fee.
Cause they do have to have a survey, obviously, when you split and combine, so they're
I'm
just saying
saying
And they
that.
have to have a survey.
Yeah,
Because there's no record of, only landowners know what's farm, tile drained or not. The county doesn't know.
you know, and I've never heard of a situation that we know
No,
of that there's,
because-
that they've ever talked about the drain,
Right.
you know,
because
even
it-
with a split situation,
Because
so.
then the issue would come up, well, if that's tile drain, that's worth more money, it'd be taxed higher.
They do tax it higher.
They're tiling everywhere though.
Right.
How can you not with the rain? You know, it's like,
But they're not supposed to do that.
They're not supposed to do that?
No,
Well,
How do
tell
you
me
know?
why they tiled in the.
Why doesn't that count as an improvement?
it shouldn't make difference because the land is based on the land value. This argument came up through Farm Bureau. I read the article.
hmm.
They're not supposed to be saying,
Okay, well, I can't defend it because I don't know.
right, the assessor is wrong if they're
I
saying,
haven't heard that the assessor has ever done anything with drain,
right,
no, with
wouldn't know.
with tiling ever.
right. I'm
Ever.
saying, how would they know?
Yeah, I know this is something that they use in different communities too, so I don't know, they just kind of do it for everybody.
I know there was a case up in Sanilac County. And they took it to the tax tribunal and they won.
Mm,
Cause the assessor up there was trying to say, well, it's tile drained, it's
mhm,
worth more.
mhm, mhm.
Says, nope. You need to, it has the same value as the parcel next to it on taxable.
We could ask the assessor about it. That wouldn't be bad, because I'm kind of curious too about it.
How many splits do we do a month?
Not a lot lately.
Well-
Sometimes we get slews, but lately it's been like nothing.
but-
I don't remember.
The whole building department.
haven't got-
They actually did one with, that turned something into like 7 parcels over off of Croner Road there. And,
Oh, Alecki's,
I don't know who. it was.
Yes,
it's
election,
on the market.
Okay,
yes.
and then, somebody just called me on, they wanna chop one up into 5 parcels.
So I wrote,
So did anybody second
I put change split combination fee.
to per
To per
parcel, of
parcel
ending final number
of
of
the final
parcels
number.
at 125 per? That's what I got. Would anybody like to second that?
Angie, you made the motion, right?
I did make it.
I'll second.
Gilman,
I'm gonna go no.
no? Christie, yes. Berger,
Yes,
Dudek,
No,
Duncan,
Yes.
carried. Council on Aging request.
I make a motion to respectfully decline.
I'll support.
Sure, definitely.
That's Brett's my thing here.
Yeah, we do that every year.
Yes, we do.
Should change it up sometime, make a motion.
I get to it.
I'll fight you for
I
it.
know, right? They've asked us for
Right.
every year, so.
$24.5 million
Yeah.
to get a year.
We already pay in our tax.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So who's second? Gilman?
I
Brett,
did.
Hey, Christie, yes. Dudek,
yes,
Duncan,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Berenger.
yes,
Okay, carried. Okay, next. We got, Big Hand Road, starting ditching at Mayor Road, go 350 feet west on the north side. $5,700.
I'll make a
Pretty
motion to
cheap,
approve that one.
I'll second.
yeah,
Must not have any trees or anything crazy.
yeah. Who made the motion, Brett?
Gilman,
Okay,
and Dudek.
okay. Were
Okay.
any of these on the list or a list that you guys had or something?
Yep,
Yep, okay, cool.
all right, Duncan,
Yes.
Dudek,
Yes,
Gilman,
Yes.
Berenger,
yes.
Christie, yes. Carried. Okay, next one. Big Hand Road, start at Croner, go 1,700 feet west on Big Hand Road. On the north side, remove and replace 2 culverts, 18,500.
Ooh,
I'll make the motion to approve that.
Your heifer sign in.
I'll support. We do them.
Wait, Christie, yes. Berger.
Yes,
Gilman,
Yes.
Dudek,
Yes,
Duncan,
yes.
Motion carried. This one. Okay, this one is a berming project on Big Hand Road between Stoddard and Croner. Remove the berm on both sides of the
Have we
road.
they
gotten stuff
using the-
before on berms?
Excuse
Have
me?
we gotten quotes before on them doing the berms?
No, that's what I'm asking. Is
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
Doing
Okay.
this with the machine or is he using the bermer? Whatever that thing was that just throws it back in the road.
It was my understanding, and I can verify this. It was my understanding they were gonna have a truck follow them, they were gonna take the.
Actually
stuff and
take it
go
off.
away.
Yeah, I don't want it in the
No,
road.
I don't want to throw it in the road. If they're actually taking it,
That
So-
berming disc they pull behind the tractor,
They
right?
should do a lot of roads then
So
for
if you-
that, if they're gonna actually cut it, you know, and
He
take
told me they're
it.
gonna cut it out and haul it away.
Wow.
well, I'll make, if that's the way they're doing it, I'll make the motion.
All right, and then if it turns out to not be true, I won't turn it in.
Okay.
I'll second.
Yeah, that berming machine was awful.
Oh, that's a good experiment, Big Hand Road.
Yeah.
Let's see what it does.
Doesn't they make it nice and it all rolls off? They don't put the mud in the road.
Just- If the water doesn't lay, sometimes you need that dip.
Okay, Duncan,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Berger,
Yes,
Steve, yes, Dudek,
Yes,
that one, oh.
That's
Okay,
one fine.
I did,
I just said it here, so yeah.
yeah, I
I
think
must-
she
I must-
signed it already. I didn't sign
Okay,
it.
so there's those two.
I'll do it. All right, this one is on Palms Road, and it's a berming issue. Palms Road between Frith and the railroad tracks, both sides of the road.
I'll make that motion on that one also. Same as the other one.
yep, I'll second.
All that work we just gave.
Yeah, hopefully they can get it done before fall, right? I know it's not funny. Christie, yes. Dudek,
Yes,
Duncan,
Yes.
Berger,
yes.
Gilman.
Yes.
All right. Anything else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Am I right?
No, we're just skipping
Get up.
forward.
know.
Don't adjourn yet.
Don't adjourn yet?
Board discussion from last month, because I wasn't here. Was the daughter of the homeowner on Big Hand property that was cleaned up by Richmond Recycling, wants to pay for it?
She wants to pay 300 to 500 a month for 15 years or something,
But she's in her eighties.
but that's not a good plan.
Wow, okay.
It's being put on her taxes in the summer.
That'd be a doozy.
So she'll be able to pay anything she wants on it till the end of the year without any interest.
Yeah, because she's gonna defer her taxes and then it will go to the county. And we are putting a lien just because you don't know what's gonna happen. So we're doing the lien
Okay.
very soon. Yep,
Just to protect the residents.
yep, yep.
That's all I had.
Is there a second to adjourn?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Hi, Diane Cooper. See you later. Good night.
In terms of